All right. So I never said it wasn't going to get deep. All right. If you're listening to the content, then of course I'm not here to shit on the avoidant. We're here to use this profound and powerful moment in life to transcend the dark unconscious scripts that have been running our lives. If you're an American, you have access to access. You are the ultra consumer. Your emotions must be controlled so that your behavior can be predicted. I want you to think about what I said, and then throughout the rest of your day or the week, think about the ways that you consume. Think about the ways that we spend our money and our time and our attention. I've talked about social media being this place where we can express ourselves, and that's true. But we end up feeding our egos with validation, external validation, and external attention. And this keeps us from self-reflection. And this self-reflection is what's needed to help you transcend these unconscious scripts that control our behavioral patterns, our behavioral loops that keep us in the same type of undesirable outcomes. I'm going to explain this here. Deep introspection. I do life coaching. We're talking about transformative ways that we can improve ourselves and transcend the old way of thinking, because the old way of thinking keeps you in primal state, a low vibration, where we carry guilt and we carry shame. I'm going to get to my point here. I'm prefacing this with some very deep stuff. It's going to get deeper here. Or for those who have been paying attention and my message has been resonating with you, you'll know what I'm talking about. We use this moment, this discard, the emotional execution, one of two ways: to step off the cliff, back into the abyss, back into the ego, back to the dark unconscious, to be left unresolved, so that we end up with unexplainable feelings and emotions, triggered at points when we do not prefer them to be triggered, that end up sabotaging the things that we truly love and the things that we have in our lives that we want to continue to have and we want to nurture and cherish and honor and respect. Number one, respecting yourself. Number two, loving yourself and having that self-dignity as well, and then expressing that to other people. Differentiating between good and evil, if you will, and making a choice as to who and what you want to be. This is your self-reflection. This is the integration of the things that you've learned. Now, so that's why we're here for this, this channel, this avoidant event that happened in your life that's so profound and powerful. And it's powerful because of this. It's profound because of this. I kept saying that the avoidant detachment, or rather discard, that beautiful, wonderful, powerful person. They're human beings, man. And it turns out they're more like the other person than you think. That avoidant person showed me everything it was I needed to know to elevate myself beyond where I thought I was. I'm building this coaching company. I'm building these ideas up, and I feel great about it. I feel like I've resolved a lot of things and brought a lot of things to the surface. I have deconstructed the system that we're living in that manipulates the human mind. And we all see it by now. And it's detrimental to our well-being with our intimacy and our relationships with our family, our friends, our loved ones, our romantic partners, our jobs. The ideas that you have that you want to bring to fulfillment, but things are holding you back unconsciously and you don't know why it is that you fear taking the next step forward that you need to take, why it is you fear what other people are thinking and how they might judge your product. This person showed me the guilt and the shame that I was carrying with me. And here, the entire time that I thought that I had transcended myself, and I actually showed this person love, I actually transcended myself to the point where I found my divine masculine, and I was willing to give to that person everything. It was genuine, honest, open, sincere. I found it, but I was lacking. I was coming from a place of lacking with my business, with my idea that I wanted to bring to fruition. I was lacking in these ways. I wanted to take the next step forward. I made more money in previous months than I've ever made in my life. But I was lacking. I wanted to take the next step forward, and I couldn't figure out what in the hell it was that I was carrying with me, because after the avoidant detachment, I had to go back, or the discard, I had to go back and look at previous relationships. And I started to realize that I possibly had been avoidant in those relationships. Not in everyone, and some of them, at least one, I think two. Now, why is that important? Had this avoidant discard not occurred, I would never have had the inclination or the pressure and the pain and agony that happens when you're pushed to self-reflect. If you know, you know. You go through that pain, or you can run away from it and go back to your social media pages and beg for validation, and go on dating apps and beg for validation from others and attention from others, and go and blind yourself with other women and do whatever it is that guys do and women do nowadays in the Western world. Or you use that pain as pressure to go back and reflect on your experience, to be used in the present as wisdom. That's your diamond. This was a diamond. I went back and I started to think to myself, I actually had a conversation in my head with a person who I fell in love with a long time ago. And it was real love. Like I was in love with this person, and she showed me love. And she commanded intimacy from me and asked intimacy, emotional intimacy of me. And I ran from it. And I sabotaged the relationship. This was one beautiful person, man. Let me tell you, a beautiful fucking girl. Good God, man. I won't get into details. I was 24 years old. And I sabotaged it. And when I had this conversation, I went back. I actually, what happened was I looked her, she popped in my head, this person from many years ago. And I looked her up on social media just to see how she's doing and what she's up to. Of course, an avoidant would do that, right? Whatever you want to call it. And I had a conversation in my head with her. What if I ever saw this person again? What would I say? Like, I would have to preface, like, I feel like I would owe her an apology, even like 18 years later. And a part of me said, like, okay, if I apologize, I have to preface what I would apologize for so that it would have substance to it, and you would understand that I have in fact understood or understood what actually the apology is for and why I am genuine and honest and sincere about it. And it was then I realized that this avoidant person was showing me things that I was being blind to. I could not see. I was blind still, even though I thought I had recognized it and found these things, and I had elevated myself. I transcended myself to the next level, and I did. But that guilt and shame from not truly forgiving myself, because I didn't know what I was forgiving myself for. I'm open to being grateful and to forgiving myself and forgiving the avoidant discard, because my love, this girl, I'll always love that person. She's a very wonderful, caring person, and she showed me the way, man. And I have to thank her for that and be very grateful for it, because she showed me the things that I did not see. So even though I thought I was forgiving myself, deep down there was this guilt and shame that I could not see and I could not shake and I could not forgive because I couldn't see it. And so it bled into my work. This shame and guilt bled into my work. It was incomplete. As high of a vibration as I thought I was operating from, it was incomplete. And it was then that I realized, of all the things, I decided not to give up my self-respect, self-love, and self-dignity, so I set boundaries. Good. God's saying, if what you want is your abundance, I'm putting you to the test. You can go back to the low vibration of this avoidant person, and you can move into her frame, or I'm going to show you the way, but you have to prove to me that you're willing to go through some fucking pain, because if you set these boundaries, the avoidant's going to not want you. They're going to go. They have to. They're going to go, and they're going to discard your ass. And I knew it. I knew it. But deep down, I knew it was the right thing to do.